Hello guys, in the next part of my daily sculpts, and actually this is the first commentary that I did on the same day that I did my sculpt. So yeah, it's very nice that I don't have to comment it, I don't know, 5 days after, and now I have time a bit, so I can comment it. So basically, for today's day, I did an arm, a human male arm, which will be quite muscular, but also stylized. Because I like stylized stuff. So as you can see here, I did a different approach that I was talking about. So I basically used spheres and subdivided cubes as joints and the bones, and then when I finish shaping them, I just join them together, and then we can start sculpting. And when joining together, I don't mean pressing Ctrl J, because if you join them with Ctrl J, it will broke your mesh, because if two parts of the model are intersecting with each other, if you use Ctrl J, the intersected parts will stay there, so you'll have vertices inside your mesh. And if you use the other way, which is using booleans, this will delete the vertices that intersect with each other, and everything will be fine to sculpt. So yeah, that's the basic step. So you have to boolean them together, and then you can sculpt. So I actually used a lot of references on the internet, and I also stopped using PureRef for the some basic stuff, like if I'm using the arm, sculpting the arm, I don't usually do the reference board, because it's better to have it on the internet, because there's a lot of pictures that they already have every view of the arm in one picture, so you can basically use one picture as a reference. And if you are sculpting more complex stuff, like the head, for example, or the whole body of someone or character, you should use the reference board. But for the simple stuff like arm, you don't have to use the reference board. You can use only one or few references that are on the internet. So again, using the base model, base shapes as the beginning helps a lot with defining the shapes of the arm, because you can see from the beginning that the top is bigger, and where you have a muscles, and where you are slimmer, so where the arm is slimmer. So always use base model, guys, as a start point for your sculpts. And a few muscles that you have to remember in arms is biceps, which is the most obvious one, and you also have triceps. Those are the back ones, so the opposite of the biceps. And also you have one more muscle that is in between of them, and this is the small parts that you can see next to the biceps. And I don't know how is it called, but remember that there is something like this, and always sculpt it. And also the shoulder is quite important. The look of the shoulder. The top part is harder than the bottom part, so forehand is quite easy for me, and there's not a lot of muscles on the forehand, so it is also easier to sculpt. So yeah, and this was a more stylized version, so I make everything more popped, on more exaggerated a bit, and I added more sharp edges on each side. But as you can see, if I didn't, this could be already the done model for right now. As you can see on the other viewports, it's smooth and it looks already like an arm muscles. And I can stop here, but I still had time, so why not use that? And my first plan was only to sculpt the arm, because I want to sculpt the hands on the other day, like maybe tomorrow, or tomorrow I will sculpt the leg, but we will see. But and yeah, after I saw that I still have time, I decided to basically make a hand. But I make the mistake, because I used snake tool to pull out the geometry, and you will see me that I spent a couple minutes on there, and that could be solved by basically adding another mesh as a separate object, and then sculpting the hands separately, and at the end just joining them together. But yeah, I was stupid, and I used the mask tool and pull out the hand. But for my luck, I didn't sculpt the fingers together with the hand. So basically I didn't use the snake tool to pull out the fingers. And don't do that, guys, never, because it's really hard to sculpt the fingers if they are so close to each other. So the best way is to make a separate object and sculpt one finger, and then you just can duplicate it and put it in the right place. So let me drink water, guys, again. Okay, so again, as you can see now, I'm struggling with the hand. First mistake is that I said I pull it out with the snake tool, and I couldn't achieve the result that I was looking for. So the correct rotation and also the correct scale, because I don't know if you can see it now, the hand is quite big, and I wanted to make it smaller. And for my luck, I fixed that later with the brush, but yeah, it's better to keep it as a separate object, which you can scale, rotate, and do everything with it, and it will not affect the arm. So here I'm just adding more muscles, or refining more muscles to make them more visible. And yeah, here you'll see me struggle with the hand for a bit. Here I'm just marking where the hands intersects with the arm. It's the part that depends on the person, but basically this part of intersection is the slimmest part of the whole arm. So you have this intersection part, which is the smallest, and then you have part of your hand which will be bigger. So remember that, guys. Also, yeah, I pull out the thumb, which I shouldn't pull out, but yeah, it was too late, and I was too lazy to delete it and do everything the same. And the trick with making the hand smaller is masking the area of the hand and using the inflate brush, and instead of inflate, use control version of it, inverted, which is called deflate. And so I use control and I brushed all my hand to make it smaller. So really nice brush. I usually don't use it, but this time it came out useful. So every brush is useful and every brush has its purpose, but mostly I don't use that brush. And again, I think my blender crashed. Again with the detail flat fill. Here you can see me adding a cylinder, which will be my finger, my one finger, and I basically detail flat fill it with some high detail, not high detail, it's medium detail, and I use grab brush to define the shapes of the finger, so it is not perfectly rectangular. It has some bends also and some bumps, so that I try to mirror that. So basically I looked at my finger and I did the same in the program. And here I'm just marking where the knuckles are of the finger, where the bones joints are. And I bent the finger a bit because it has to fit into my hand. If it would be straight, it would look really weird, because I don't know if someone is having his fingers like straight up down. It looks just weird. Yeah, so slight bend is always nice. So as you can see, I duplicated them, and it already looks better a lot. And here now I'm just joining fingers together, but I join not all of them. I join one finger at a time, so it would be easier for me if I want to do some corrections. So first I join the index finger, we call it index finger if I remember correctly, and then I will join the other at the end, because if you join everything together, it will be hard to smooth everything, because the intersections are of the fingers are too close to each other, so it will be hard to get into those parts. So that's why I'm joining separately, yeah. And the sculpt actually took me 1 hour. I thought that it will take me less time, for I don't know, 45 minutes like the female torso, but it took me more, like 55 minutes maybe. And yeah, I also did the rendering part at the end, so you'll again see the render of my arm. And now I'm thinking that if I will sculpt the leg, should I ask a foot or do a foot as a separate video? Because I will for sure do it, because I want to sculpt each part, every single part. So I will do the hand also separately. But the leg is quite long, and the leg has a lot more muscles than the arm, so I don't know if I will fit into 1 hour limit. Yeah, but okay, we'll see. I will try to add the foot. So yeah, so here I'm just refining the shapes, adding some sharp edges, make it more stylized. yeah, Stylized for me the best style ever. And yeah guys, this will be my arm sculpt, and thank you, and see you guys in the next one. And yeah, goodbye guys, so enjoy the rest of my sculpt, and bye bye. See you soon. Have a nice day and life. Goodbye.